This video will contain spoilers for Fear the Walking Dead, and more specifically, Fear the Walking Dead Season 8B. So if you haven't heard by now, we recently received the news that a familiar face is returning in Season 8B of Fear the Walking Dead, and that familiar face is Troy Otto. Now, depending on how you look at it, this is a reincarnation of a dead character, and that's exactly what I wanted to talk about in this video. Today we are going to be talking about the return of Troy Otto and how, in many ways, it's a bad idea, but I'm still hyped for it either way, so let's begin. Now, before we dive in deeply, I wanted to quickly address some of the criticisms I've been receiving, giving my opinion about this matter all throughout TikTok, YouTube, and everywhere else. Take a look at this. Here are some of the comments I've been receiving. So, to all of these comments and all the people who have really strong opinions about this, I want it to be very clear that you're absolutely right, and that's the beauty of art. I think we've lost touch as a society of that, and that it's okay to have differing opinions because that's what makes art so strong. I could hate an idea, you could love an idea, and that's the best thing that we could do as a society is have differing opinions. It's how we push everything forward. So I think everything that people have been saying is valid. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just similarly, there's nothing wrong with having one opinion that's a little different than that. You know what I mean? I think that starts a very healthy conversation. And as a matter of fact, I absolutely love that. I think it's what truly makes this art form so special. There's not one way to appreciate something, and that's okay. So while I personally think having Troy return is a terrible decision, I also understand if you love it. I mean, in fairness, it's cool that he's coming back. I love Troy Otto, so it's not like the end of the world or anything. It's just, you know, I have some opinions. So realistically, my only hope is that you come into this with an open mind and you hear my opinion, and believe me, I'll be hearing yours in the comments because I read all of them and I actually enjoy seeing those differing opinions, so this is all healthy. That's all I wanted to say. And with that out of the way, let's jump right in. So for those of you who may have forgotten, Troy Otto was a character in Season 3 of Fear the Walking Dead that many believe is the best character that Fear the Walking Dead ever had. Now personally, I also think that's the case. Troy was a great addition, specifically when it comes to his dynamic with Madison. They worked so well together. Troy was like a villain, but also simultaneously he wasn't the villain, so it created this really interesting dynamic where we fully understood where he was coming from, and he had a fantastic character arc throughout the entire Gulch storyline. And with that being said, his character arc concluded in a very satisfying way where Madison ended up killing him, and with that being said, his story arc came to a really sound conclusion when Madison killed him. And it just worked really well because the story was fantastic. We understood why Troy did the bad things that he did. It made sense. It wasn't like he was truly a bad guy because in the end of the day, it worked, right? So that's the biggest contention point, but his story arc concluded, and it concluded in a way that makes sense. See, I think an important thing in telling a good story is having a finished character arc, and that's exactly what they did for Troy Otto. When his storyline came to a close in Season 3, his death felt right, and that's how writing should go. If you have nothing more to say for a character, it's perfect to end him. It just works. And that's exactly what the writers did. They wrote a really great character, and they killed him off when it was necessary. That's something that's very important for The Walking Dead to do, right? I mean, it's a show in a zombie apocalypse. They should know when to kill a character and when it's appropriate, because there are no real rules in this society that we're watching. So it makes perfect sense to kill someone off if his morality is not in check. So at the end of Troy Otto's storyline, it was confirmed by the showrunners that we had just witnessed his death. And as a matter of fact, we saw in Talking Dead them confirm that he died. Similarly, I mean, to be fair, we saw that with Madison too. Like, they did come out and say that Madison died. And, okay, I'm gonna ignore that one for a minute because at least we didn't, like, visually see her die. But with Troy Otto, we saw him die. We saw it happen. The man died. on screen. There's no denying that that's what happened. It's not like you could chalk it up to him not getting hit in the head twice with a hammer, then falling down and exploding, damn unconscious. And yeah, I've been seeing everyone's comments, and like I said in the beginning of this video, it's an amazing thing, but let me explain one thing that doesn't make any sense. Everyone's saying, oh, it's a zombie apocalypse, it doesn't have to make sense. Rick, we saw his survival. Madison, we saw her survival. Okay, I got to address all of that in this video because it directly is relevant, and again, you can have your own opinion, but let's not ignore the facts here. Yes, the show is set in a zombie apocalypse. That's the medium of the show. But otherwise, the show is extremely grounded in reality. We're dealing with real humans going through an unrealistic scenario. Yes, okay, but that's the medium in an otherwise very grounded story. So where is the argument that, yeah, it's a zombie apocalypse, none of it has to make sense? That doesn't, it doesn't make sense, guys. There is no way you could justify that. You just can't. And additionally, for all those saying we saw Rick survive an exploding bridge, we saw Madison survive too, yeah, we did. But we also saw Rick's visual survival, like we saw him getting saved. We know that happened. With Madison, we didn't see anything. The only confirmation we had was the showrunners later saying that she died. Now with Troy, we saw the man's death. We literally saw it happen. We saw him unconscious inside of an exploding dam. Now the only way that they could make this right for me is if they do a flashback sort of scene where we visually see him being rescued or saved. If they don't do that, I think they failed. I really do. And also, I've been seeing some people say that I'm extremely pessimist, and that may be the case for some Fear the Walking Dead and Walking Dead content, but it's because I love the franchise and I want to see it get better. So to that point, yeah, it is pessimistic that I'm having a problem with it, but it's because there's a real problem to have with it. I mean, seriously, guys. Like, if you look at this on paper, none of this makes sense. Like, it really just feels like a cash grab on AMC's part to try to bring in some viewers for Fear the Walking Dead and some sort of, like, last-ditch effort for them to make some money on the show. That's what this feels like. To me, I could just imagine them sitting around in the showrunner and writing room being like, we don't know what to do, the story's going nowhere, we need to bring someone back, we need to do what the fans want us to do and bring back Troy. And look, I get it, there's been outcry for years to bring Troy back, but if the story doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense. And it just doesn't make sense here. You're literally bringing back a dead character, and I hate when shows do that. I really do. It bothers me. And that's the case even if I love the character, and so is the case with Troy. Troy was one of my favorite characters in Fear the Walking Dead. Him, Travis, Madison, I loved all of them. I loved Nick too. They were all great additions to the show. But that doesn't mean that when someone dies, you should bring them back. You know what I mean? Like, that would be like Travis walking back onto the set. That would be like Glenn coming back onto The Walking Dead. These characters died in front of us. You can't justify their return because they're dead. And they're not zombies coming back. They're humans alive and well. It just doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? Now, to counter that point, because I said in the introduction to this video, I am really excited either way. And that's because Daniel Sherman is genuinely a fantastic actor, and the scene we already got of his monologue for Season 8B, it was truly incredible, and I'm excited to see what happens with him. But my only concern at that point is, are you going to ruin the character like you ruined every other character on Fear the Walking Dead? Because I don't see any future where they're going to do him justice. I really don't. And yeah, I am really excited to see the dynamic that he shares once again with Madison. Like, that is going to be great and all, but I hope they don't ruin it, because in my opinion, they already kind of ruined Madison again. She's just been a sucky character in Season 8. Like, sure, we're getting a little bit of a return to form with Madison's Make Padre Great Again speech that we got at the end of Season 8A, but like, I don't know. My only concern realistically is that they're going to ruin his character again, and I don't want to see that happen because he was a fantastic character in Season 3. So yeah, while I am excited for him to return, I also just think it makes no sense at all, and it pisses me off that he's returning, but I don't know. I guess we're gonna have to wait and see. Look, we only have 6 episodes left of the show. It's not like I'm gonna stop watching because they made this goofy decision, but overall, I don't think the decision works. It feels like a cash grab. It just doesn't feel natural, and a story should feel natural. Even if it's great, I'm still going to have a little bit of problems with it because he died. The character is dead and now he's brought back to life, and that just doesn't make sense. It doesn't. There's no way you could justify that to me. But with that out of the way, I just wanted to get my thoughts out, and I'd love to start a conversation in the comments about it. I know a lot of people have differing opinions than me on this issue, so I'd love to start that open dialogue down there. We don't have to get all hot and heated and all of that stuff. It's okay to disagree. It really is. But I'd love to know how you feel about it overall. So let's be sure to start a healthy conversation down there. And with all that out of the way, I hope you liked this video. If you did, be sure to give it a like, rating, and subscribe for more Fear the Walking Dead content. We're obviously going to be watching these episodes together and reviewing them, so look out for that. And with all that out of the way, thank you again so much for watching this video, and until the next one, I'll talk to you later. Peace out.